Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hofstra, to the dedication of Berliner Hall. Before I ask the president to come up, I just want to acknowledge our trustees who are with us today. Chair of our board, John Miller, Trustee Marilyn Monter, Trustee Edwin Reed, and Trustee Alan Byrne sitting up here with us today. It's now my pleasure to introduce the president of Hofstra, Stuart Rabinowitz.
Thank you very much. What a great day for Hofstra University, and what a great day for me to have the privilege of serving as president. What could be better than naming, dedicating one of our new important buildings, our science building, after somebody who began his career at Hofstra, as I did, as a faculty member, and in his 39th year of Hofstra really was responsible and has been responsible for Hofstra's academic progress is to date. Made possible by a proud graduate of Hofstra University, who is also a trustee and who's so generous. And the reason that he is generously suggesting that this be named after Herman and that the board approved it is that he was a student of Herman's back when he was in the business school, and was so impressed with his relationship with Herman and how Herman taught that he wants to honor Herman in this way. So, and the proceeds from this contribution will be used to further develop and enhance Hofstra Science Facility. So I couldn't think of anything better for us or for our university than this event. Before I begin, I have two tasks at the very beginning. One is to introduce the trustee, Alan Byrne, who made this all possible. I'll do that in a second. But the other task is a tremendously pleasurable task of introducing you to some members of Herman's family who are here. Of course, his wife, Annette, his children, Julia and Isabel. I asked the children if they wanted to speak. They declined wisely. These are very bright young women. And also Herman's brother, Author Pewter. Author? Thank you. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce Alan Byrne, who is a proud alumnus of this university. He graduated with a BBA degree in 1976. He left, when he graduated from school, he went on to a sterling career in business. He and his brother took the family business, which was Garlic Farms, and raised its profile and its revenues exponentially. He then went on to become the CEO of Dean Foods, a Fortune 500 company. And, he's certainly a young man, and he's still working in his field as head of Sequel Holdings Corporation. Alan has been a member of the Board of Trustees of Hofstra University since 1990, and he has served with great distinction. He's somebody that every president during his tenure, well, actually there are only two during your time, consulted with on every major move. I know he's been a tremendous asset to me and to the Board of Trustees. In fact, I think in recognition of that, tomorrow Alan's about to be named the vice chair of the Hofstra University Board of Trustees, and we're very excited about that, Alan. He has generously given to the university many times over his history, and not only is he generous and grateful to his alma mater, but he is for a donor who provides the resources that he has. Not to want to name something after himself is a interesting change of pace. And so we applaud his altruism and his dedication to alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Byrne.
Thank you, Stuart, for your kind remarks. I'll be very brief. It really is with great pride and a sense of privilege that I'm here today to honor really a dear friend of mine, Herman Berliner. I really didn't realize our relationship spanned as many years till I had a chance again to read the bio on Herman, saying he's entering his 39th year here at the university. And then I realized he came in 1970, and I came as a student 72, and I guess we're both aging. Um, um, I was privileged, I guess, to have Herman as a professor of mine early on when I was a student here. And Herman co-taught an economics course. I was an economics minor. The economics of higher education, along with Robert Payton, who at the time was the president of the university. And Herman and Bob Payton taught this course together. And it furthered my interest in economics and in higher education, and I think encouraged me to take a minor in economics. And then over the years, when I left Long Island and moved back to Massachusetts, I stayed in touch a little bit with the university and was honored at a particular time to serve on the advisory board first. And Herman we kept in touch and always reach out and tell me what was going on in the university. He was dean of the business school, which was near and dear to me at one point in his career. And I think of all the things about Herman, the integrity and the sense of purpose here, and helping the university really become the fine institution that it is. I think one of the special things about him is really the care that he had for students, both as a professor, and I experienced it in the classroom, but also as an administrator. And I think the Hofstra University is very fortunate to have him as part of the administrative team here. I think it's unusual for someone to spend their whole career today with one institution, and I know that although he's starting his 39th year, I think there's many more years ahead for Herman here and for the university. And I hope that is certainly the case, because I think the whole Hofstra community has benefited from Herman's involvement. And over the years, Herman established a scholarship fund, and I was honored to be able to contribute to that. But I think in talking with him over the years, he always wondered his impact on the university, and to spend all this time sort of thinking ahead, how would he be remembered. And I think that it's very fitting that this building be named for Herman, and it will stand in a perpetuity, and it really won't tell the whole story of everything he's accomplished here, but it will just be a place here on the campus that his name will always be associated with. And I'm pleased and really honored and privileged to take a very small role in that taking place. So congratulations, Herman. I look forward to working with you in the years ahead, and thank you for the many contributions to the broad Hofstra community and how you've helped this institution really become the fine place that it is. Thank you.
That was a.
You could agree to take my name off the outside of the building.
We will. We will. We will. Alan Vernon doesn't like his name anyplace on this building. So that was a beautiful introduction of Herman, therefore making irrelevant most of my comments. That's all right. And this will be the shortest naming ceremony I think that we've seen in quite a while. But I do have the honor of just being the immediate introducer of Herman Berliner. As you know, he's been the provost of this university and his chief academic officer for the last 20 years, and I am pleased to say he and I are both in my 8th year as president, and he serving as my chief academic officer. Herman, before he became provost for 20 years, was dean of the School of Business for 9 years by my count, and believe it or not, He was also at one point dean of the School of Education for a couple of years. And I'm sure if I hadn't been appointed dean of law school in 1989, he would have been dean of the law school as well. It's just impossible to summarize the kinds of contributions that Herman has made over. Let's just take the last 20 years. I mean, he has been an effective and constant advocate for investment in the academics at Hofstra University. He's been a terrifically effective advocate for the faculty, and I don't think anything about Hofstra would be similar to what it is today if not for Herman's contributions. And I know you risk setting a bad precedent when some might argue when you name something for somebody who's name a building for somebody who's still, high up in active administration. But I don't believe we'll ever see anybody with Herman's record as a faculty member, as a dean, and as a provost. So I'm not concerned about setting precedents for others. I have to tell you the other thing that I would say about Herman as a matter of personal privilege is that he's been a great friend of mine from the day I stepped on this campus. He's much older than me. So I came in 1972. Herman and Alan and I arrived together. We both had the same hair at that point. But Herman was here. And from the day I arrived at campus, he became a friend. He taught me all about hardware and how to fix a house and so on and so forth. So, and having known him and worked with him so closely over so many years, I can tell you that there's no one more principled than Herman. There's no one more concerned with the core academic values that each one of us really care about. He is he's even a gentleman. For somebody to be a provost for all those years and be a gentle, kind, caring person is also not so usual. So it's just been my pleasure to have him as a friend and colleague, and I am thrilled that this building is named in his honor.
Behold. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very appreciative of this honor. It's nice to be a building. Let me begin by thanking Alan Vernon for his support and his friendship. As faculty, we pride ourselves on the impact we have on our students. With Alan, it's the case of the student, now former student, having the greater impact on me. Alan's commitment to Hofstra, his compassion, his support of major Hofstra initiatives, his generosity, his leadership style are all exemplary. Alan Vernon is clearly a role model, and we all appreciate his good work. Thank you, President Rabinowitz and the trustees, for making this honor possible. I also want to especially thank Stuart for his leadership. Hofstra is a far better place thanks to his efforts, and the presidential debate on our campus and the medical school are just two wonderful examples of that leadership. I'm appreciative that Stuart asked me to stay on as provost, and I'm pleased that the provost position has become even more stimulating, more enjoyable, more interesting than it had been before. I have the pleasure of being at Hofstra for almost 40 years, and I'm still thoroughly enjoying myself. Now, of course, a special thanks to my wife Annette and to my daughters Isabel and Julia for always being so supportive and understanding. I do worry, however, about the confusion that this naming may cause, and this confusion may be the result of questions, comments, and comparisons. For example, during the first week of classes, I answer a lot of questions from new students, and often these questions relate to finding the place on their campus where their classes are being held. How will I answer questions such as, I am looking for Berliner? Well, the answer could be, you found Berliner. Or where is Berliner? Right here. And the student will say, I know it's here, but where is it? Or what if the question is, point me to Berliner?
Another example, what if I hear comments such as, Berliner is a handsome structure? I could relate to that. Or Berliner has a cold look. It may be my German heritage. Or Berliner looks tired. Or Berliner is really square. How do I respond to those comments? And what about the inevitable comparisons? Which Berliner looks younger? Or which Berliner is more productive? Clearly the building, given all the faculty and student talent that's present in the building. Being here for so many years, I'm fortunate to have known and worked with many of the names on the buildings, labs, library collections, etc. Professor of Psychology and former Provost Harold Euchre, the Euchre Reserve Library, invited me when I was a very junior assistant professor of economics to become involved in administration and was a longtime mentor. Provost Sandy Hammer, the Hammer Lab, was also a longtime mentor and friend. Hofstra is a far better place for all their good work. I'm also indebted to Jim Shewart Stadium. He gave many of us an opportunity to assume senior leadership positions relatively early, which helped further our careers and helped shape Hofstra. Both President Rabinowitz and I are examples of Jim seeing potential. I'm honored to be in the company of these names and the company of many other distinguished individuals whose names grace our building. My greatest pleasure at Hofstra has been, is, and continues to be facilitating the accomplishments of our university, especially our students and faculty. I look forward to being a participant and facilitator of the increased distinction of Hofstra going many years forward. But long after I'm gone, I'm pleased that there will continue to be a Hermann Berliner that is involved with and facilitates future Hofstra accomplishments. I am very appreciative. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our formal program. Congratulations again, Herman. Please join us inside Berliner Hall for some light refreshments. Thank you for being here.